Hello, good morning, good evening. I am Megan Lambert, and the intro talk on desire. Desire is one of those words I use a lot, and I realized I haven't done an intro on it. So that's this talk. Who you are probably man or woman, but I would guess that is interested in getting to know more about her desire, sexual desire or otherwise. And you're starting to explore going beyond the obligations and the shoulds of what your life is supposed to look like and moving into asking yourself the question, what do you really want? So if that is you, this video is for you. And let's dive in. So the first thing I just want to say is this is my perspective on desire. You don't have to believe any of it. I would say take what you like and leave the rest. And if it doesn't resonate, if it's not empowering, don't take it. This is what I have learned over the last 6 years of personal development, specifically on sexuality and feminine desire. Okay, so let's start with the basics. What is desire? I believe that desire is this body-based impulse that arises from us, from our, I would say pussy, from our pussy, up our belly, up our body, and through our heart and out through our mouth, which is a desire to create, to connect, or contribute. Those are usually the three things. Sometimes it's superficial, like I want an iced coconut latte or I want a massage, but more often the deeper, bigger, scarier desires are in some way to connect, contribute, or create. So that's what desire is. It's that drive to get outside of yourself and to a bigger life. And so when you ask the question, what do I want? You may have this experience of being like, I am totally no idea what I want. And it's a bit like turning on the faucet hose, right? And it's like, it may come out kind of rusty at first as you're like, I don't know what I want, or I don't know, I just want to get my nails done. And all that's good. Like you might just have really small things at first. But as you keep asking yourself the question and flirting with your desire, bigger and bigger things might come out. Okay, let's just talk about why you would even ask yourself what you want, right? Because it's kind of a scary question because you don't know what's going to come out. First of all, if you have ever felt stuck in a job that was boring, or not even a job, a life that felt boring, dry, exhausting, fake, artificial, not yours, small. Has anyone ever felt like that? You can raise your hand. Yeah, that is a signal that your life is lacking the nutrient of desire. Desire is what gives your life that juicy color, unpredictability, dynamicism. You don't quite know what's going to happen next. It's exciting. It's terrifying. It feels yours. That's desire. And so why would you follow it? Simplest answer is it's fun. The deeper answer is I don't think you can feel fulfilled in life without trusting and following desire. You could take that one or leave it. That's what I believe. Okay, so I'm going to tell you 4 facts about desire, and then we'll wrap up. And facts from my perspective. The first fact is that the call gets louder. So I believe that desire is the way the universe, spirit, talks to us. And first, the call is really gentle. It's really small. It's like a little feather. If we don't listen to that one, then the universe sends a pebble and kind of like, oh. And if we don't listen to that one, we get a boulder. By boulder, I mean you might get sick, you might lose your job, you might have an accident. Like these are signs, these are some ways that desire can speak. So I'll give you a personal example of mine. I had an amazing leadership consulting job and I loved it until I felt the call. It was time to leave and start my own company. And I felt that was probably a year before I actually left. And I heard it as a whisper. It was like, go and start your own company. And I was like, no, but this is a great job. And what if I don't make money? And I love my coworkers. And so I just tamped it down. And then a few months went by And then pretty soon I started to feel more and more tired. Like it was harder and harder to get up the energy to go to work for no apparent reason. It's not like anything got worse in the job, but I just felt so tired trying to go. And then one Monday morning, on the subway to work, I just randomly threw up in the subway. And I don't throw up normally. I don't. But it was like my body was like, yo, stop. This is not aligned. This is not where the universe wants you to be. So luckily at that point, I sent the email and I left because I know if I didn't listen at the at the rock, the next thing would have been the boulder, which would have been getting really sick, getting fired, some version. The universe always wins is what I would say. Like the desire that's coming through, it pretty much always wins. We get to decide how painful or pleasurable it will be. That's what I believe. Okay, so that's fact number 1, the call gets louder. Fact number 2, desire either gives you power or takes away your power. And this is what I mean. As these impulses arise and you respond, and so you're like, ooh, I want to go connect with that person, or ooh, I want to send an email to that person, or ooh, I want to quit my job and start a business, or ooh, I want to buy that beautiful kimono. I don't know why. As you hear these and follow them, you gain clarity and power. And by that I mean it becomes easier and easier to know what you want, and you feel more and more capable of going for what you want. It's like a muscle you're working out, and you're getting really strong. If you hear the impulse, like, I want to write a book, and you don't follow it, and you're like, nope, don't have time. The impulse rises, you tamp it down. What happens is you start to dim your own inner light, and you become less and less powerful and less successful. So, yeah, that one's sad. It makes me sad. That's why I stopped. But it's true. And then when that happens, when we dim our lights, the impact to that is that it can affect all of our relationships. Our relationship with our intimate partner, all of a sudden we're not as sexy and vibrant and powerful as we used to be. Our relationships with other women, all of a sudden we feel competitive and jealous of them. And we'll start to kind of shut down and hide back into ourselves, right? Because if desire is the impulse to connect and contribute and create, it's this outward flow of energy. If we tamp it down, then the only result is that we're starting to close in on ourselves. So I'll give you an example. There's this program I really wanted to take, and it was a week-long intensive with all of my friends. And I could feel the desire. My body got hot every time I thought of it. This was about 4 years ago. But then I was still in my leadership consulting job, and I was being sent to India to do a project there, and I just said, you know what, I'm not going to do this one. I'll just do the next one. You know what happened? The event happened, and I was so resentful and bitter. And then when all of my friends came back online after the intensive, I couldn't even talk to them. Like, I felt so jealous and so competitive and so bitter. It was like no part of me could be happy for their success. I was just bitter. And I think that's what happens when we deny our desires. Like, it kind of brings out the worst part in us. So if you're listening to this and you're like, whoa, I really see myself in that bitter, jealous, competitive side, the thing I would say is, like, tell yourself, I can have it too, and start following small desires. Rebuild your muscle and rebuild the trust between you and desire by following a few small ones today. The third, so that's number 2. What happens when you don't follow desire, losing power. Number 3 is help, my manifestations aren't working. So one of the things about desire is, especially if people listen to like Abraham Hicks or Tony Robbins or whatever, you're like, okay, I got my desire, I'm going to go for it and manifest it. And they make these vision boards, and they like tell all their friends, and they're like, doing mantras. All of this is great. And you're probably at a point where it's not going the way you want it to go. And so, and I'll give you an example. So I just hosted a retreat. It was amazing, amazing. 17 women came. It was mind-blowing. But probably 4 months ago, we had 4 women enrolled. My team was dropping out. There was like guest teachers were leaving. I was looking at the budget and I'm like, I'm going to lose $10,000 on this retreat. And like shit was hitting the fan, to put it lightly. And the thing that I would have a really honest heart to heart with myself. And I was like, why am I creating this struggle? So when your manifestation isn't working, that's the question I would ask. Why am I creating this struggle? Usually there's some kind of payoff to the struggle that you're creating. There's some kind of payoff to the experience that I'm having, even though it's not what I consciously say I want. So for me, when I did that question, I realized that there was a part of me that really liked the struggle, like an unconscious part. I had to be really honest with myself. It's like there's an unconscious part of me that really likes the struggle, that likes when it is like hard and difficult and, oh, I don't know if I can make it, and am I going to go 10 grand in debt, and will there even be a team, and no one's going to sign up, because it felt exciting. It's kind of dramatic and challenging. And I got to feel like, oh my gosh, like, is it really going to happen? And it makes it feel more like a soap opera. And I learned growing up that like you have to work hard for things that are worthwhile. And if you're not, and subconsciously I believed if things aren't hard work, they aren't worthwhile. And so there's an unconscious part of me, an unconscious desire to make this retreat damn difficult so I could prove to myself how worthwhile it is. I know, it's crazy, right? But it's also hilarious. Totally hilarious. And then the thing is, once I saw that, I was like, oh, I get it. I'm trying to make it a struggle because that would make it more worthwhile. And I enjoyed that and had fun with that. Then everything flipped and changed. And the team came together and 17 women came and it was amazing. So, and I didn't lose $10,000, made money. So that's what I would say about like when your manifestation's not working, ask yourself, how am I benefiting from the struggle? Or how am I benefiting from the situation as it currently is? And what might be the unconscious desire behind this struggle? All right, that's the third point, when your manifestation's not working. And then the fourth one is desire takes time to ripen. So some things you know that you want, like for me, I want to write a book and I want to have a baby. And I know that those things aren't for right now. I can feel in my vibe, like it's not ripe. It's like if your desire was a fruit, it's just a little baby seedling right now. And the thing that you do with desires like that, like you might have some desires too, you're like, that's like not now, but in a while. It's like, what do you do now to flirt with and play with that desire? Because a lot of times what we do is we have a desire come up and it's like, like writing a book. It's like, I don't have time to do that right now. I have so many other things I'm working on. Squash. But instead of the squash and killing the desire, it's like, how do you hold it and flirt with it? Like, put it on the shelf. It's not right now, but flirt with it, enjoy it, make a Pinterest board about it, about the book or the baby, start talking to people about it, sit and meditate about it. You don't have to act on it, but just you flirting with the desire that's not quite ripe will help it ripen and grow. And I know this might sound a little abstract. So if you're like, what the hell does that mean? Send me a message, reach out. I'd love to talk to you about it. But that's what I just want to say is like, just because you feel the impulse and you feel the desire, it doesn't always mean that the time is right now. It takes a little discerning and nuance to be like, is this a right now desire? Or is this one that I'm going to wait and let it ripen and grow and expand and evolve? Okay. So that's the end of the talk on desire. I'll do a little recap. So the first one is, what is desire? It is the drive to create, to connect, and contribute. It is our body-based impulse that I believe comes from spirit, the universe, God. The first fact about desire is that the call gets louder. Starts as a feather, then becomes a rock, then becomes a boulder. And so you can decide when you want to listen to it, if it's a pleasurable thing to follow or a painful thing. That's the first one. The second one is that whether or not you follow desire impacts how much power you have and how easily you will connect in your relationships. The more you're following your own desire, the easier it is to support other people following theirs. And the brighter you seem as a human. The third fact, when your manifestation is not working, there may be an unconscious desire there, like some payoff you're getting in the struggle. It's so difficult. So looking at what that is can be really powerful in shifting it. And then the fourth one is desire has its own timeline. It is like a fruit that's ripening in perfect time. And so flirt and play with your desire while it's ripening without squashing it or having to act on it right away. All right, so the 4 facts about desire, a little intro, and I'm here. So if you have a desire and you're like, I don't know how to follow it, or I have a desire and it's not working, reach out to me. I would love to talk to you about it. There's nothing I love more than being a desire doula and helping you birth that desire into the world. Okay, lots of love. Bye.